Welcome to the first ever podcast for the Groundhopping Hub Around the Grounds. This week we're going to be discussing the worst football grounds we've been to. You know, groundhopping has its high moments, but it also has its low moments. I'm joined here with Billy Stevenson from Non-League Chatter.
Hello.
That's at West Yorkshire NL on Twitter. I'm also here with Jordan Rushworth, who writes for the 72.
Hello.
And that's at FLB72 on Twitter. So Jordan, why? What bad experience have you had at a ground, or what ground sticks out for you as one of the worst you visited?
Well, for me, most grounds I've visited, to be honest, a football ground's a football ground to me, so I'm going to enjoy most football grounds I've been to. So what I'm going to say is, for me, the worst ground that I've been to personally, for me, is the Ricoh Arena, Coventry City. Not for facilities, not for the actual stadium itself. It's a nice stadium, but simply because of what that ground has done to the football club. I feel like it's had such a negative impact since they left their Highfield Road Stadium, moved into that. The way it's run, the fact that they don't own their own stadium.
Is it the council that owns it?
Yeah, it's the council that owns it, yeah. It's caused massive financial problems for the club. There was that couple of seasons where they had to ground share with Northampton because they couldn't sort out the rent. And then since they've moved into the stadium, they've just dropped. They've dropped from the Championship, where they were when they moved into the stadium, down to League Two, all the way down to League Two at one stage. They're in League One now, they got promotion, but there's still rumours that they might be in trouble after this season. They won't be able to, at the moment, play at the Ricoh Arena next season. So I think, in terms of what that ground has done to that specific club, I would say Ricoh Arena.
Because the facilities are good there, aren't they?
Yeah, the facilities are good.
Yeah.
I think the pitch, the fact that they share it with a rugby club, the pitch is always...
London Wasps,
yeah, London Wasps, yeah. The pitch is always a little bit of an issue for Coventry as well. But like I said, it's not for facility reasons that I'm choosing it. It's for what it's done to the club itself.
And what about you, Billy? Have you got any grounds that you'd like to... that you'd say are the worst you've been to?
I've done quite a lot of non-league grounds, and like they're just standard non-league, so you sort of what you expect. But probably one of Yeovil. Probably I went there on a Monday night in January, freezing cold, open roof terrace. I like the terracing. I love terracing, so it was good to go there. But it was raining. It was a cold Monday night in January.
What was the atmosphere like as well?
It's quite hard to create an atmosphere when there's no roof.
Yeah.
Because usually when you're under a roof, like that's what brings the noise. Like, that's what makes you loud. But when I went, we sold out because it was the first ever time Watford have ever played there.
Yeah. Like
in their history, so like it sold out even for like a midweek game. And yeah, it was very hard to generate an atmosphere because of no roof. But it was good.
Well, the facility's all right as well, or is it box standard sort of thing? Like?
It's just box standard. You go in. It's not really like where you can get a beer or anything.
Yeah.
There's literally none of that.
Is there pubs around the ground, or are they...
I don't know, because I got the coach there, so I went straight there. But outside it doesn't look as bad as it does look in. But that was just because it was raining. And drew 0-0 as well, so that made it even worse a little bit. What the worst ground I've been to? That's literally the worst. All the other grounds I haven't really had a problem with like any facilities, like no problem with stewards, none of that. So yeah, Yeovil for me, it's got to be the worst ground I've probably been to.
I've got a couple of grounds that I kind of don't enjoy. The first is Bradford City's. I think the atmosphere there is great, to be fair. It's really noisy at Valley Parade. The fans really back the team. My only issue is with the away stand. Going there as away supporter, there's that two-tiered stand behind the goal, which away fans are normally housed in. They're not allowed to serve beer because obviously it's open and it breaks Football League regulations. There's no pubs near the ground that admit away fans as well, so if you are wanting a pint before, it's really difficult.
There is a Wetherspoons, but I don't know if they're allowed.
Yeah, it's quite away from the ground, especially if you're getting a coach as well. There's nothing really there. And as well, the toilets as well. The toilets are literally like caravan toilets. That reminds me of Aston Villa. There's literally like one trough and like 2 cubicles. So for like 200,000 fans that are there, it's unreal.
Another worst ground, so I just thought.
Yeah, go on.
Withdean, Brighton.
Oh, have you been there?
Running track,
yeah.
Awful place.
I think all grounds with running tracks are bad. I mean,
I thought it was Team GB there.
I had to watch Rotherham at Don Valley. There's no atmosphere, is there, at all in the grounds like that?
It was awful. But it's good to go to them sort of grounds. Like, I don't really know many people have been to the Withdean because they didn't have it for, I don't know how long they had it for when they went, because they went from the Goldstown to the Withdean and now they're at the Amex. But it is good to go to them grounds because you say you've been to them, but when you're there, it's a bit of a dump. Another
one I will say as well is Hillsborough. I like it in the inside. It looks really nice on the inside. But as an away supporter, the concourse is cramped. And to be fair, you know, I'm not too fond about that when all fans are pounding the concourse, but it's the fact the ticket prices are high now as well, which is part and parcel of the journey. If you're doing ground hopping, it can be expensive. As I say, I really do like the ground inside. I like old school grounds, but the concourse is tiny. There's no beers on draft as well. So it is an expensive day out, but yeah, like I said, it's quite a nice ground inside.
I'd suggest the like generic new build grounds as well. Or any sort of like new build generic ground where sort of the same structure, all of them, they all look the same.
Like bowl-shaped grounds.
Yeah, bowl-shaped.
Yeah.
Like the new build structure grounds.
I think the Etihad's nice because I think it's quite unique with the features. I think it differs from things.
I think the Etihad, it was designed to be expanded. So I think
yeah,
that's
it was originally an athletics track.
Yeah.
It was designed for that bid.
Yeah,
I don't mind it. One ground that I think is quite weird, Old Trafford. I didn't mind it. It was okay, but it just didn't, like the concourse and that didn't look like. I think it maybe need doing up a little bit. Like it looks quite old for what it is. Quite an old stadium, obviously, but the concourse looked rather old for like a big club, and I think like they should redo it up a bit. And the atmosphere at Old Trafford's awful as well.
I think as well grounds that aren't don't have very good transport links. Because I actually like Donny's ground. It's basically a less steeper version of the New York Stadium, but because it's out of the town centre as well, like a lot of new builds, like even Derby's, I suppose. I mean, it's got a massive leisure park around it, and the same with MK Dons. It's like a really big bowl-shaped new stadium, but it's not in the middle of a town centre. I mean, it was built on an industrial park, weren't it, for that reason?
Yeah.
I mean, that's half empty for obvious reasons, so let's not go into that. But I think transport links and just having somewhere to go before the match to get a decent pint and a drink and food.
Man United's ground. You go into, like for Man City, you can go into Manchester and you can probably walk it in like 20 minutes to get to Man City. But Old Trafford, you have to either get like a bus or like a tram or like another train for when you get into Manchester. So you have to drink in Manchester before, and then, like round the ground, there's nowhere for away supporters because it's all home supporters only. There's a few like pubs and that, but they won't allow away fans in. They're only home fans only, which I think is a bit bad. There should be somewhere where you can do stuff around the ground beforehand, like you said, instead of like Derby's like in the middle of nowhere. There's like a Harvester next door, like a Frankie and Benny's you can go in, but yeah.
I do think as well that being another ground that I will mention. I'm not saying it's a horrible ground, but I think it's one of the best. Just in the thing that it's Vale Park, Port Vale. The stand is not very steep. Also, the view's terrible. The view's absolutely terrible, and there's not that much leg room in the away stand. So I'd class that one there as well.
Another stadium I'd throw in there is the one that Darlington built.
Oh,
yeah,
the big
20,000 seat stadium.
That's probably got to be under one of the most stupidest grounds to ever be built.
It follows on the lines of what I was saying about Coventry as well. It's just completely ruined the club financially. Yeah. The fact that they built a 20,000 seat stadium.
Yeah. Do they not play there anymore?
No, they don't play there anymore.
It's like a proper like small ground.
I don't know what's happened to that stadium. I think it's just unused now, to be honest. I'm not sure exactly
That's got to be one of the worst grounds to ever been built.
Yeah.
Like I never went there, but I remember when they were in like League 2 and that. I remember when back in the day when they were in League 1, League 2, it used to be on like the Football League highlights, whatever, the Championship, whatever it was called back then. And it used to be quite a nice little ground, but I remember they used to never fill it at all.
No, I think we averaged like 2,000 fans.
Yeah,
it's 20,000 seat stadium.
Literally, there's no point in having that big. It's a waste of money.
So now we're going to find out what your views are on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @_groundhopping. @ground of the day says, I hate the Majeski, plain and simple. @HST_9 says, Solihull Moors, it's difficult to get to on public transport, which we were just touching on then. And he says, outside the ground looked like a construction site and they didn't even play any music at half time. It was just silence. Andrew Midge Flint says, the winner hands down is the Kimkey Arena. @Curtis58 says, Whitehawk is an absolute tip, awkward to get to and known on the circuit as Shitehawk. @Running Millers says, 20 years ago, Bellevue at Doncaster, the views were awful, a horrible place and weird folk. And from today's grounds, probably the Keep Milk, although Chris is a Rotherham fan, so that's probably satirical. Thanks a lot for joining us on the Groundhopping Hub's first podcast. Next week, we're going to be talking about the best grounds we visited. We'll hopefully see you then. Thanks a lot for listening. Thanks for joining me, Jordan and Billy.
No worries, no problem.
We'll see you next time.